This process is known as relegation.
You're out of here. Relegation, huh? So the bottom three gots to go. You're out of here. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, Euro 2024 is going on, and I did a video reacting to the Dutch taking over Hamburg, Germany. It was flooded with orange, okay? It's been took down as of last night because of a copyright strike. But anyways, I still did it, still reacted to it, and I mentioned how I have no clue anything about how that works. European soccer, football, whatever it's called, right? So, I found this video right here, Understanding European Soccer in 4 Simple Steps, a guide for Americans. I just so happen to be an American, guys. So, I'm going to learn. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to click like in the video. The links to the original videos down in that description section down there. Hit like and subscribe and do all that super fun, awesome stuff. And we're going to go ahead and learn in 4 simple steps. How does this work? Because I don't know. And I got a lot of, I wouldn't say hate, but a lot of people's like, you should learn. Because I mentioned how I'm completely clueless. A couple people was even like, well, why would you even react to this if you don't know anything about, I was just reacting to the fact that the entire town was took over by orange wearing Dutch people, Dutch fans of, football. So really wasn't anything to do with the soccer football aspect of it. But anyways, we're going to learn right now. That's right.
Welcome to Understanding Soccer in Europe in 4 Simple Steps, a guide for Americans. Although from the outside it may seem complex and confusing, to understand how soccer works in Europe, you really only need to know 4 things.
Okay.
Number 1, each country has its own soccer league. Seasons run from August to May, in which each team plays every other team twice, once at home and once on the road. Games are divided into 2 45-minute halves, and when the game is over, the winner is awarded 3 points, the loser 0, and in the event of a tie, each team gets 1 point. After each team has played all the other teams twice, the team with the most points is crowned champion of the league. They get a big trophy, a parade, and the season is over.
Okay, so each country has their own league. So the way that I assume it works, right? So you got each country has their own league, and then they win, and then maybe the team that wins goes on. But see, then again, it's like, I think somebody said something in the comments about, or a few people, about how they take the best people from each team and then make a national team. So I'm not quite sure. Gonna find out, though. That's why I'm doing this.
There are no playoffs. Sort of. But more on that in a minute. Before the books are closed on the season, there is still one small bit of housekeeping to be done. Number 2, relegation. We'll use the German League as an example. Every year, when the German League has concluded and the champion has been crowned, the 3 teams with the least amount of points are kicked out of the league. This process is known as relegation.
You're out of here. Relegation, huh? So the bottom 3 gots to go. You're out of here.
The 3 vacant spots are subsequently filled by the top 3 teams from Germany's 2nd division.
2nd division. The top 3 spots of the 2nd division.
The 3 vacant spots are subsequently filled by the top 3 teams from Germany's 2nd division.
What is the 2nd division?
And unlike, say, baseball in the US, teams in the 2nd and subsequent divisions are not owned by teams in the top division. Imagine if the Pittsburgh Pirates or Oakland Raiders had to fight at the end of each season just to stay in the league. What if instead of coasting to the bottom for better draft picks, they were fighting to the bitter end, to avoid the $40 million revenue loss that relegated teams suffer in the first year alone? Not to mention the fact that in England, 9 different teams have gone financially insolvent within 5 years of relegation. Okay, interesting enough, you're thinking. But what about that whole lack of playoffs part? Number 3, each country also holds an elimination style tournament.
Okay, so the 2nd bracket, so that's like, is there 2 leagues? And the 2nd bracket, or the 2nd whatever, is kind of like not quite as good, but the top three, of course, is better than the bottom three in the other, so they replace the bottom three.
Whole lack of playoffs part. Number 3. Each country also holds an elimination style tournament, referred to as a cup. But instead of being held after the 9-month league is over, cup games are scheduled in between league games, normally in the middle of the week. One additional perk about the cup system is that teams from all levels, down to semi-professional and even some amateur teams, are invited to play, and if they do well, can progress, and occasionally even knock off a top team, play.
Okay, so first division, that's your top tier teams. Second division is your second tier teams. That makes sense. So the first division, you know, the last three that suck get replaced by the second division's top. Okay.
And if they do well, can progress, and occasionally even knock off a top team. So every year, these midweek elimination games continue until there are only 2 teams left, who play each other in the cup final. After 90 minutes, a cup champion is crowned, they get a trophy, and a parade. So, between the league and cup games, we get a great picture of who the best and worst teams in each country are. But wait a second, you ask. What would happen if the best teams from each country in Europe all got together and played each other? Good idea. Number 4. The resulting competition is called the UEFA Champions League, and it is without a doubt the single greatest club competition of any sport anywhere in the world.
Okay, so that one's the one, that league is the best team from every country. Is the UEFA champions.
Period. Think of the NCAA tournament, but with better quality of play, more than double the fan base, and quadruple the enthusiasm. And yes, Europe even has their own version of the NIT as well. So, through a complex and drawn-out process, teams from all over Europe compete just to qualify for this tournament. And starting each September, the top 32 teams are put into 8 groups of 4. Each team plays the other members of its group 2 times, once at home and once on the road. Come December, the winner and runner-up from each group move on to the knockout round. And this is where club soccer is at its finest. Teams are paired up individually and again play 1 home and 1 away game, with the winner from each pair moving on to the next round until only 2 teams remain. The Champions League final is then held as a single game each year in May. And unless it's the World Cup year, this is the most important soccer game of the year. After 90 minutes, a champion is crowned, the trophy is awarded, parades commence, and all clubs go on break until the madness fires back up again in August.
All right.
So, to review, number 1, each country has its own league. Number 2, the worst teams are kicked out of the league and replaced by the best teams from the next division down. Number 3, throughout the year, each country also holds a playoff-type tournament called a cup. And number 4, the UEFA Champions League is a tournament involving all of Europe and is the most important competition in all of club soccer.
The end. We're going to check out some comments, guys. Somebody says, why am I watching this? I know everything already. Well, why are you watching this? Right? you clicked on it. That's why. Let's see. One thing that was overlooked and a great fact is that in the English FA Cup, you can have, and it does happen, small clubs with semi-professional players going up against the biggest teams in the country. So a pretty average guy working a full-time regular job can play in the biggest stadiums with some of the best players in the world. This also happens regularly in World Cups and European Cups. Okay. Opportunities, guys. Opportunities. Go out there and play your heart out. Maybe you can get into the World Cup or something. That'd be pretty sweet. Or European Cup or the UEFA champions. All right. Somebody says, you picked the one league in European football that has a relegation system. I don't know what that means. If somebody can explain that, definitely let me know down there. Somebody says, this is unbelievably understandable. I'm a European who doesn't follow football. Now I can finally follow along. Well, there you go. Now I understand a little bit more about it, but of course there's multiple leagues. Like there's the European Cups, there's the World Cups, there's FIFA, which may be the same as the World Cup. I don't really know. But hey, I got a long time to learn, so you guys have a super fun, awesome day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, bye.